Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Seriously, hopefully this show finds you in great spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. How's everybody feeling? How is everybody feeling? We got a lot to go into, a lot of conversations to have. A lot of things have been going on over this weekend. And obviously, there's a lot of things that are now very urgent that we need to talk about right now that is still breaking overnight, was breaking, and now is starting to pick up some steam, and some attention is needed on this for sure. But before we get into everything, please do me a solid. All right. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what to do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. Okay. Hit that subscribe button here on my main channel right here on YouTube. Go to my second channel on YouTube, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there. Make sure you hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. All right. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. We have got to get into some things. Good morning, guys. Good afternoon. Good evening to every single last one of y'all. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. I missed you guys. It was a busy weekend. A very, 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 very busy weekend. So happy to be back here to give you guys the news and what's going on. Obviously, the Grammys were last night. There was a lot of conversations and a lot of things that were going on, like just a lot of things going on, like Cher, and Chapel Roan. That's just two things. And then, of course, Trump reacted to it in his way. He was definitely in his feelings about some things that happened at the Grammys. We got a few things to discuss about that. But first, we got to get into our main topic of the day. There's a lot of things we're going to be talking about. There's things about the Epstein files that have been released. Obviously, the Grammys were last night, which we will be touching on briefly as well. And of course, there's a major situation going on with one of the main Today Show hosts, Savannah Guthrie. Her mother has gone missing, everybody. Her mother just went missing. Nowhere to be found. She gone. And from what we've been getting, the information we've been getting as of late, they're basically saying that they have a homicide team, the homicide department, I guess, is investigating the actual scene of where she was last seen, which is very strange. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. Her 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie, is now missing, y'all. Gone. Nowhere to be found. Angela said, "Do you think it's ICE?" No, I don't think so. I don't think she's from another country, but you never know. I don't know. You never know. That might be something we learn as we dive in. But from my understanding, it's not like that. And I feel that if she was taken in that kind of way by ICE in that kind of way, I feel like they would be able to go through databases, etc., to find her, right? But that's not what's going on here, right? So again, this is very interesting. They say that there is no history of mental health ailments of any kind. It's not like she was never. They say that she was never like diagnosed with dementia or anything of that sort. She's got a few physical issues. Like She has a few physical impairments. I mean, she's 84 years old. But other than that, she's got a clean bill of health from what we've understood and what we've gathered. But of course, we got to talk about this. We diving into. We haven't dove into the true crime realm in a while. We've been covering a lot of stuff that's been going on with ICE and the protests and now Epstein files because they've been huge dump was dropped just the other day. And then Trump, and all the craziness that he's been involved in, and whatever's going on in the White House. But we have got to dive into the true crime realm right now. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Still, again, nowhere to be found. She has been missing since Saturday evening, and no one knows where she is. Obviously, this Savannah Guthrie didn't show to work this morning because of this situation. Clearly, this is a very serious, very, very serious situation. But we're going to be hearing from different clips from the show, talking about the details. There was a press conference that allegedly happened just earlier this morning. We're going to be taking a look at that as well. Like I said, this is absolutely scary and terrifying. And also, it just makes you realize that it can happen to anybody. Losing someone, not knowing where your loved one is. I mean, I don't know why, but this one felt like all of them hit home in a certain way. But the fact that it's somebody that, if you watch the Today Show, you're seeing somebody on TV every single day, and then all of a sudden they have somebody that they love, their own mother, right, go missing. It just feels, I don't know why, but it's like it just makes you realize how quickly and how quickly things can get personal. You see what I'm saying? How quickly tragedy or someone missing like this could actually happen to anyone, and it even happens to the celebrities. You know what I'm saying? So again, before we get into everything, I hope she is quickly found, and I hope she's found safe. But they're saying certain things like she doesn't have her medication, the medication that she needs to survive, etc. So this is very strange. They say that there's certain things that they found in the house, which is now, a crime scene. They said that there's signs and clues in there that she may not have walked out on her own. But of course, we're going to be diving into this in a lot more here in just a second. So please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and let's get into this. And so for those of y'all who don't know who Savannah Guthrie is, she is the anchor, one of the main hosts of the Today Show. She's been doing it for many, many years. Very successful what she does, right? It's a very successful morning show. It's not only just her. There are other main faces, okay, that are part of the show as well. But she's one of the main staple faces, one of the anchors of this show. So this is, like I said, very scary. But her mother is missing. So she's 84 years old, just so you know. Female, she's 5'5". She's about 150 pounds. Her hair is brown. Her eyes are blue. Okay. Just so you guys know. And if you see something, say something. If you are in the Arizona area, okay, definitely speak out. And you see something, call 911, call local PD. It's easier to call 911, right? Just call 911. But authorities in Arizona are searching for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, who was reported missing under what the authorities are calling concerning circumstances. So the Pima County Sheriff's Department says the 84-year-old was last seen Saturday night near her home in Tucson, in the Tucson area. Sheriff Chris Nanos said she was last seen at her residence around 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. And don't worry, I'll come back to this, so you guys can see that again in just a little bit. Okay. But a family member called 911 around noon on Sunday to report that this NBC star's mom was missing. During a briefing, the sheriff said disturbing or concerning circumstances were found at the home, prompting homicide detectives to assist in the investigation. While authorities emphasize the case is currently being handled as a search and rescue operation, the sheriff said investigators are not ruling out foul play. I mean, clearly, if you're sitting there going, wait, we saw some things inside the house that are very concerning to us, that maybe she didn't walk out, okay? That maybe she didn't walk out, you know what I'm saying? On her own. That's something to think about for sure, right? There's, of course, her and her mom, okay? So let's continue on. Search efforts are ongoing and include air and ground teams scouring the area. So, Nancy is described as 5'5" tall, weighing approximately 150 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. In a statement, Savannah says, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for their thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. I mean, this is, like I said, this is a very scary thought. It's a very scary thing. For those of y'all who still are lucky enough, blessed enough to have at least one of your parents still on this planet, it's, alive. It is a scary thought, right? Because like one day you're talking to them, everything's fine. The next minute they're gone, right? They've gone missing, nowhere to be found. That is a very, very scary thought. Let's go over to the Today Show as they're talking to us about what's going on here.
It is a deeply personal story for us. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's beloved mother, has been reported missing in Arizona.
Nancy, who is 84, was last seen Saturday night and reported missing on Sunday by family members.
Savannah saying in a statement, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. We thank law enforcement for their hard work on this case and encourage anyone with information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900.
In a news conference late last night, the Pima County Sheriff said multiple teams responded to the scene.
This is very concerning to us. You don't typically get the sheriff out at a scene like this, but it's very concerning what we're learning from the house.
The sheriff adding that Nancy Guthrie has no signs of cognitive issues.
She's has no cognitive issues at all. She's very alert, very of good sound mind. Just some physical, 84 years old.
I mean, I think that's something that we all need to put in consideration. She's 84 years old, right? Of course, she's going to have some physical ailments. There are no signs so far of any type of, it's not like she was diagnosed with dementia or any type of mental illness or mental health ailments of any kinds. So again, where could she be? What happened here? Are there street cams? Are there ring cameras that can, depict anything, right? In the neighborhood or in the area that she was in Arizona, right? Those are all things I think that we're all thinking about, because it could very well be a situation where she just up and just walked, and she may not have been diagnosed with dementia. And then, she could very well have dementia and could have just taken a walk, very, very long walk out of nowhere, right? So, of course, that's something. But I do want to know, what is it that they are finding, right? They said that they found some very concerning evidence inside the house, hence the reason why they brought out the homicide detectives to kind of push forward in this investigation. So what was it that they saw, right? What's in that house? What traces of blood? What's going on here, right? But I digress. Let's continue.
Sees Tom Winter covers crime and security. Tom joins us now with the latest. Tom, good morning. The sheriff said that what they found especially concerning was the scene at the house. What's the significance of that?
That's right, Craig. And obviously our thoughts and prayers are out with our colleague, Savannah, this morning. You know, people go missing all the time in this country, and it can be a frustrating process for families as they ask law enforcement to look and intervene. One of the things that police do first is they go to somebody's house in a case like this. And according to what the sheriff said last night in Pima County, what they uncovered was a scene that was, quote, very concerning to them. But later used the phrase grave concern at the press conference.
Grave concern. Sorry, guys. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative, okay? I ain't trying to be Mr. Negative at all. But when you say grave, right? When you throw that in there, grave concern, what the hell happened here? What did they find in that house, right? What's going on here? Because could there be signs of an actual struggle that happened? You see what I'm saying? Because clearly, when you say grave, something's up. Something's up, and I hope the police are wrong. But of course, when you say the things that have come to our attention give us grave concerns for obviously that's not exactly what they said, but yeah, that would be hell yeah, that would make me concerned, right? Yeah, I'm praying for this family, real talk, because this is some scary stuff.
Last night. So it was the evidence that they found at Nancy Guthrie's house. She's 84 years old, that they found there that led them to this point where they thought that this is something that required their urgent attention. They were able to get out helicopters last night to use infrared cameras. They've got drones up. They've enlisted the help of the Customs and Border Protection, obviously not too far from the border there in Mexico. They have some special resources. The FBI is also aware of this case as well. Just given the nature of what they found at the scene, that's what's got them so concerned. We're withholding some details, as we would do with any investigation, to make sure that the investigation can go forward without us interfering in it.
And Tom, we think it's important to note, once again, the sheriff also mentioned that she has no cognitive issues. I mean, she has some physical ailments that impact her movement, but what might that tell investigators?
Well, that's exactly right. And I think anytime we talk about somebody who's in their 80s or older, we think about those cognitive issues. People can get confused. There can be mental health ailments as people get older. All of us have dealt with that in our lives with family members. And so you think about that, whether somebody got lost, whether they left their house and didn't quite know where they were going. That's not the case here, using the phrase very alert, very sound mind in the course of that press conference last night. And so this is somebody who they don't have those concerns about. There are some physical health concerns here as well. And I think that's another reason why investigators are focused on this. This is not somebody who would have perhaps the physical means to go very far from their house. They have not found this person in the course of the search and rescue. And at this point, they don't think that Savannah's mom had any sort of mental issues that would have led to her leaving her home.
Again, one thing is for sure. They say they have grave concerns over the evidence that was found inside the house. Obviously, number one is, what could that be? It sounds to me like someone may have gone in there. There may have been some sort of intruder, and they were able to obtain her in some sort of way. That's possible. But then there's also that possibility. Like I said, we got to leave all these possibilities on the table because they haven't given us much, right? But one thing is for sure. They say that there's evidence that gave them grave concern. Homicide detectives are now a part of this investigation. The house is now considered a crime scene. For whatever they found inside that house, that's what we have so far. But we still have on the table the possibility of her not being diagnosed in time for her to actually have, for lack of a better term, we're going to sound like a Tennessee Williams play right now, okay? But maybe she had a spell, okay? I'm just saying, possibly. To me, it sounds like someone may have gone in and taken. Okay? I hate to be that guy, but that's the possibility. The other possibility is that she was not properly diagnosed in time for her to have a moment, a spell, if you will, and maybe she just walked out the house. That's possible. Here's the other thing, too. This is the other reason why I could see grave concern. Like when they say grave concern, homicide detectives are now a part of this investigation. Clearly, they found something in that house. But here's something that's for sure. Savannah Guthrie is a big name. She is a face that people see every single day, Monday through Friday, early in the morning. She's a celebrity. She is a reporter. She's an anchor. She is very successful at what she does. And she's on television every single day. So what are the possibilities of someone taking her mother for ransom, taking her mother for some sort of financial gain or for some sort of, I don't know, strange obsession over Savannah Guthrie? I'm sorry for saying that, but we have to put that out there too. That's a possibility. But of course, they're still doing their thing. They're still looking, all of it. Everything's about, when they say grave, I'm like, okay, something in that house, something's up. Something's definitely up. Where is she? Now, it could be nothing. She could have just walked. She could have just had a mental health break and just walked out the house all on her lonesome, all on her own. You see what I'm saying? That is possible. But you hope that it would just be that and that they'd be able to find her quickly. Remember this too. She was reported missing the very next day. She was last seen around 9:45 p.m. Saturday night. Then on Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, noontime, okay? That's when they made the report of her missing. She's 84 years old. They say that she has a few physical ailments, but nothing too crazy. If she didn't jump in a car and she just walked, because I'm not thinking that she's like some marathon runner or some, heavily physical person, right? Like running out in the streets and running marathons and whatnot, right? I think she's just, like a mom, an 84-year-old woman. So how far could she actually get on foot? That's also something to think about, right? Again, yes, no diagnosed cognitive issues. So if she was to just let's just say she had some mental health break and she just walked out the front door. How far? She's 84 years old. I'm sure, we're not talking about a toddler. We're talking about an 84-year-old adult. 84 though. How far could she actually go on foot? Because clearly they're not saying, oh, her car is missing and blah, blah, blah. She is just missing. So if she was to just walk and she had a spell, let's just say, and just walked out the front door, how far could she go? How far? That's a question. I don't think very far. I don't think very far. At some point, she's going to want to sit down somewhere, right? To rest. Rest her feet, rest her bones, and God knows what, right? So could she really go that far, right? If she was having a mental health break, which it doesn't sound like. But we have to think of all the possibilities here, right? Because they haven't really said much, right? But let's continue on. Like I said, I got questiones. I got a lot of questions. Yeah, no mental impairment. But again, no mental impairment from the time of this situation. So you never know. I have heard some very scary moments, very scary stories. Okay. Very scary stories. Shoot, I've even experienced some myself with my own loved ones without them being diagnosed until afterwards. You see what I'm saying? I'll tell you, quick story. Okay. When my father was still around, may he rest in peace. One time he got up and just walked out the door. Just got up and walked out the door. On foot. Just went out there. And my entire family freaked out. And so I was looking high and low for this man, for my dad. High and low. And then we got lucky because we started calling local hospitals or hospitals nearby, only to find out that somebody went and they found him. And I mean, he was barefoot. He didn't have a shirt on. And it was like February cold, like January, February, like negative degrees outside. Okay. Long story short, someone found him walking in the street and then took him to the hospital. Now, my father had already been battling Parkinson's, but now he had been diagnosed with dementia right after that particular moment. So this is the reason why I'm saying there are things that that may not have been diagnosed until later or until after the fact. I have good friends of mine that have seen their parents, their mother or father slowly have a cognitive decline, but they were never diagnosed with anything until one big moment happens. Then they're sent to the hospital. Then suddenly they are diagnosed, and it's like, yeah, your mom has dementia, but it's usually a big moment that happens, and then they're diagnosed. So that's the reason why I'm explaining to you that it may not be sure she's not diagnosed with it, but she may have it. You see what I'm saying? But given the fact that the clues in the house show something bad happened inside the house, it may not be anything with anything as far as a cognitive decline, right? Or dementia. And I'm sharing that story with you guys because, one, make sure you get checked up, guys, and your loved ones, make sure they get checked up and all that. But I mean, you can't really catch it until you catch it. You see what I'm saying? You can't see the signs until the signs are shown to you. And sometimes it's a dramatic moment. Sometimes it's really, really a big, scary moment. Like what happened to my dad. That was absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But then that's when it was like, okay, because of Parkinson's, you see what I'm saying? But it was a big moment like that, which was wild. We didn't know where he was. Just walked out the door. You know what I'm saying? So again, could very well be that. Could very well be that kind of situation. So again, anything's possible. All right. So I say, check in on your loved ones. Make sure they're doing okay. You know what I mean? But with this situation, she may not have known. The family may not have known anything. She could literally have dementia. This could have been a spell, okay, and caused this to happen. Anything's possible. But let's continue on, okay? Just wanted to explain to you why I said what I said, okay? Now I think we're all clear, right? Let's continue.
What kind of questions and avenues will investigators explore moving forward now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a two-pronged approach today. First is the search and rescue. I mean, we certainly hope, and obviously their hope is that they find Nancy okay, that she's going to be all right, and they're able to take care of her. And so that's the first thing, is the search and rescue component of that. Because of the foothills and the nature of Tucson, it's one of the things the sheriff talked about last night. They have a lot of experience doing these search and rescue missions. They have a volunteer search and rescue operation that's engaged with this as well. So that's the first concern. Can we find Nancy and find out where she is? The second concern is going to be what they found at the house and the evidence that they found there. And that's something that they're hoping can help give them some clues as to what might actually have happened, which of course could eventually lead them to Nancy. So that's going to be the second component of this investigation. I think that's why they're asking for the public's help. We've seen in every major case, every time I've been on talking with you this year about some sort of whether authorities were trying to look for somebody, looking for clues, they rely on people to reach reach out with the videos that they have at their homes. Certainly, I'm sure they're looking for that video, but they want people to, in the Tucson area, to call in those tips, or if they have any video of anything suspicious in the area where Savannah's mom is located, that's something they're going to look for as well. Video.
I do also want to point something out here, because we're going to be seeing a press conference here shortly, and now the scene, the home it's now considered, what's going on with Nancy Guthrie is now considered a crime. Just so you guys know, it is now considered a crime. This is not being looked at as someone who had a moment, dementia, Alzheimer's, any of that. No, this is now considered a crime. As of the recent press conference, which we are going to be listening to here very shortly, it sounds like she was taken. It sounds like that's what's going on here.
Who's going to be critical? Is there a car? Are there individuals, anybody suspicious, anything out of the ordinary that they can use to start to track if there was anybody leaving that area, anybody leaving the scene, or where she may have gone? That would be hugely helpful as well. I mean, do they see her walking down the street, walking in somebody's backyard? All that would be so helpful.
All right.
I would hope that we see, I would hope that we get more, of course, more helpful information about all this. Again, of course, I'd really love to see ring cameras, anything of that sort, any type of security camera footage. Maybe she had one in her home as well. And of course, I don't know Savannah Guthrie, her family background, or anything of that sort. But one thing I am curious about is, was she living alone? Was she living with somebody? You see what I'm saying? Those are the questions I'm curious about as well. And again, I hate to keep on saying this, but this is Savannah Guthrie. Like I said, this isn't just, of course, these kinds of crimes happen every day to everyone. But I can see why someone could target her mother, because she is a high profile individual. Does that make sense? Right? And it could be motivated for financial reasons or political reasons. You never know. And the reason why I say political is, it was a little while ago, but she was a moderator for for a debate or something like that between Trump and Kamala. If my memory serves me correctly, you know what I mean? There's so many different possibilities here. Again, like I said, seeing somebody on TV every single day, they're successful. They make millions and millions of dollars doing what they do. I could see that being a financial reason, or I can see that being, something else. Just a strange obsession with this particular person. We are going to get to the presser. There was a presser earlier this morning. We're going to get into it in just a little bit, but I want to play this one last clip here, and then we'll go into the presser here. Okay, just give me some time here, guys. Let's let this thing cook.
All right, on to a Fox News alert this morning. A frantic search for the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, reported missing since Saturday. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home near Tucson, as police confirm a homicide team is looking at the scene as well. Former FBI investigator Bill Daly joins us now. Bill, thank you so much for joining us on this tragic news. Last seen Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. at her home. So what do we know so far about her disappearance?
Unfortunately, we know very little. We just know that, as you mentioned, the police are on scene conducting a search of the home, perhaps looking for evidence, whether it's for some nefarious purposes or to find out, what may have been left behind with regard to where she has either gone or been taken. These kind of cases, unfortunately, are very kind of vague when they first start out. We just don't know whether or not there was any foul play, or had she gone out herself on perhaps a drive, or gone out for a walk, or gone to visit friends and not returned. Certainly, as they start to progress in this case, they'll start to bring in various levels of technology, whether it happens to be the cell phone tracking mechanisms, or perhaps as they start looking at nearby, if there are surveillance cameras nearby, whether it's traffic cams or other nearby either residences or or commercial establishments, they'll probably try to put together a timeline as to when she was last seen and what direction she may have been heading in, if in fact she was out on foot or in a car.
Bill, what do you make of a homicide team being called in for this investigation? Is that standard?
It's unfortunately, it's not something that I've heard over the years. Typically, that's something when now, unless there's some type of kind of mix up or transference in the way they're describing the team, where there happens to be an evidence response team, which can pick up things such as foul play and concerns about homicide. Perhaps that's the case where it's just an evidence response team and it's maybe mischaracterized. But if it in fact is more specifically a homicide response team that is concerning, that they've perhaps seen some evidence of some foul play, perhaps there's indications of either things left behind, the house is in disarray. Perhaps there could be, other signs that there was a struggle. So we hope for the best. We hope that perhaps it is more just kind of gathering the evidence and having a team in there that's experienced in looking for any of these elements, but not necessarily that they have them right now, and they're just more gathering information about what happened, perhaps the last movements in the home before she went and disappeared.
The Pima County Sheriff said that she has no cognitive issues and is very alert and a very sound mind, but she does have some physical issues. Where does your mind go when you hear something like that?
Well, certainly anytime there's a relative of a well-known, celebrity person, they're always concerned that there could be some foul play, that there's something either because of their association with that notable individual, that's perhaps there's some other agenda at play here, where there happens to be somebody who is trying to carry out some type of a revenge or a vengeance issue, or in some cases, in the worst cases, and it typically happens outside the United States, where people who are celebrities who have large amounts of money, there's also a concern that there are people looking to gather that money by taking that person through a kidnap. We're not saying that.
Yeah, I mean, again, if she was taken, right? If she was taken like this shows to you that this could very well be, a situation that's all about, a financial, this is financially motivated, or it could be based off of a strange, disgusting obsession, or, or some sort of strange revenge. I don't know, but, people, build these strange and unhealthy obsessions with people. Especially people that they see on the screen. Some people can really do that. So what is this, right? And then, what are the chances of, if this was just some random act and they picked her of all people to target and take and to abduct, that would be one that's wild, okay? And very random, but if that was the case, that's possible. Crime and bad things do happen to people all the time. But still, this is so strange. And so heartbreaking. Let me finish this, and we're going to get into this into the presser here. Okay, guys?
That's the case here. You just asked what might be the kind of range of issues that might be out there. We hope that is something, perhaps more straightforward and direct, where perhaps that she is gone, maybe has unfortunately suffered some type of medical issue and not be able to communicate. But all these factors right now, with the police responding, is a very good sign that they're on the case, that they're working very diligently. They'll bring in their very good resources that they'll have at the local or state level. And if not, they can always rely on services as kind of an adjunct to it through the FBI. Director Cash Patel has been very helpful in many of these cases, the FBI, men and women, and using all their resources to try to find this individual. But yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, where is she? Where could she be? There's a lot of curiosity, a lot of concern, because obviously this is not a situation where, from what we're gathering, because we're going to go straight into this press conference, but what we're gathering, what they're saying in this press conference, they are saying that this is now a crime. This is now a crime. This is now a crime scene. The house is a crime scene. And what happened to Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, is considered a crime. So nope, she didn't just walk out have a spell, have some sort of cognitive issue of any kind. She didn't have a mental break. She did not have a moment of like a moment of dementia or anything of that sort. They're saying due to evidence seen inside this house that a crime was committed. Now the question is, where is she? Right? But let's hear from the police themselves.
Agencies, Borstar from Border Patrol sent their canines out. They worked tirelessly all day yesterday and all day tonight. I'm sorry, all day yesterday and all last night. To no avail. As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we process that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime.
Right there, right out the gate. He just said, we do in fact have a crime scene. We do in fact have a crime. So now we could put all on the, shove all off the table, the possibility of her having some sort of cognitive decline that was not diagnosed yet, or that she had a spell and then went off and this is a mental health break or something of that sort. Nope. Now they're saying that this is a crime. Hopefully they give us more information about what they saw inside this house to show that this is definitely a crime, right?
And we're asking the community's help. This community has always stepped up to help us solve some pretty tough crimes. I'm looking for that again. This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication. Medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal. So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this.
That's terrible.
Who has seen something, heard something, to contact us. Call 911. We don't need another bad tragic ending. We need some help. Our team is the best. I couldn't speak any higher. I think you know that. We have done some great work with our partners in the Valley. This community, I have to give a lot of thanks to our law enforcement agencies all across this valley, whether it's the Tucson Police Department or some of the smaller agencies. They've all reached out. They've all offered to assist. The FBI, all of them. We work so close with them, and they are all plugged in. We'll continue to work closely with them. But what I really need is I need this community to step up and start giving us some calls. Let us know if you've seen something. We are right now at a time, and I apologize, everybody tells me I talk too softly. We are at a time where, in this investigation, we're now moving forward where we need to depend on technology. Our license plate readers, our camera systems throughout the community, anything, everything. And we will download all that data we have from the home, from different pieces of technology we've gotten, and we will use that to our advantage. But the reason I bring this up is that, I'm a cop. I hate politics, but I have to remind our political leaders that they need to quit this banter of every time law enforcement leaders come to you for a need, that you give up these ridiculous remarks about how it's going to be misused. AI is a bad, evil word. The cameras are very bad and evil. I'm tired of that. Those tools in the right hands, with the right minds and the right approaches, are extremely valuable to solving crimes just like this. We need this. We need more staffing. We need a lot of things. But what I really need is I need the community's help with this. So I want to make sure before I take any questions, It is a crime scene. We know that. She needs her daily medication. And anybody that sees anything that even looks, hey, maybe that's her, just take a quick picture. Take a video, send it to us. The number is real easy here locally. It's 911. You can contact our 88 crime and remain anonymous. You can call me, anybody. I am here to take any questions you may have. It will be a little limited. I apologize for that, but we do have a crime that we need to protect its integrity. I have here Sergeant David Stivers from our homicide team. He has been up all night, so
crazy stuff.
Bear with
Scary
us
stuff.
if we are a little bit fuzzy in our answers and responses, but we're both here for any questions you may have. Let's start, please.
Hold on real quick. So first and foremost, like we just said earlier, this is considered a crime now, okay? This is now considered a crime. Obviously, they do not know where she is. They say that she's without her medication. And these are very important. This is very important medication that she needs to take. And if she does not have it within 24 hours, it could be fatal. So kind of scary just hearing that information, right? That this is definitely a crime. They're treating it as such. She's nowhere to be found. She needs her medication like as soon as possible, or something very, very dire could happen to her. Scary stuff, guys. I'm wondering why. Did they leave? That's the thing. Like, did they leave whoever, if she was, because they're treating it like a crime, right? It is a crime scene. They're treating it as such. Is there something that was left behind, like a note, a letter, anything to give them an idea of why this particular person may have taken her? You see what I'm saying? Because now there's a third party involved, the assailant, right? The abductee. So what signs did they see in this house to make them believe this is definitely a crime scene? Let's hear these questions.
But can you elaborate at all on what makes you believe it's a crime scene as
Thank
opposed
you.
to someone who left home and just couldn't find their way back?
Well, I think I told you, she is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own. We know that.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm going to roll that back for a second. That struggle tells us something. Clearly something went down. Clearly something went down in that house. And then he just said that she's not that physical, if that makes any sense. So maybe she uses a walker, maybe she uses a wheelchair, anything, you know what I mean? Anything's possible. Maybe she just has really, really bad knees, so she can't go very far distances. You see what I'm saying? But he's saying something right there. Either there was blood at the scene, or there was a clear sign of a struggle or a scuffle that happened before she actually disappeared, right? But let's continue. He was struggling with that one. Let's take a listen.
Right. We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was a
scuffle.
She did not leave on her own. We know that.
If you don't have plate readers, is there a vehicle associated with this?
We're when I told you we're now at the phase where we're looking at all the technology, all of that is being evaluated as we speak. Let me say this: we've not just thrown our search and rescue team out there. They are going to be doing some door-to-door with our criminal investigation team. It is not just our homicide unit. All of our criminal investigation detectives. I went out last night to the scene. There were probably 100 cars out there, all from the sheriff's department, all working this case. It takes a lot of manpower and a lot of energy. This team of mine worked throughout the night. They continue to work. David's had zero sleep, but he and his team are working as hard as they can.
Is there anybody else associated with her caregiver, family member, acquaintance who is also missing and somebody?
No. The family, all of the family has been very cooperative with us. They're working with us. They're staying in touch with us. They have complete access to anybody on this department. Savannah has been in touch with us as well. Our hearts go out to them. This is their mom. She's just a great lady from what I've heard, and I feel for the family. We just want to find her and bring her back safe.
Sheriff, you mentioned that she didn't just walk out, but is there any additional information that you can give us on what may have alluded to this being a crime scene?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could. I really do. I know that everybody wants to know certain things, but I can't do that it would be inappropriate at this time.
Are there signs of breaking and entering or any forced entry, anything like that?
I again don't want to get into that. David, can you see anything here?
At this time, it's still a very active investigation. There were circumstances on scene that we believe are suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it. But we can't really get into a whole lot of details with that.
Do you believe that this was targeted, or they just happened to hit Savannah Guthrie's mom, or if this was just random?
We don't know that. We don't. We look at all of that, but we just don't know that.
Do they have cameras at the home?
They do, and we're looking through some of that. Yeah.
With this being an active crime scene, is there any threat to the general public?
Trying to figure out my phone. Well, no, I don't think there's an active threat, but I hate to say that because, we're going to canvass that neighborhood, and maybe there's a prowler been seen around. There's a lot of work still to do. We don't have any indication that that the public is in danger.
And what does that search look like today beyond what you've already told us about last night?
So we have shut down our search and rescue mission, and we've sent them home to rest. They were out all night. Look, we put all our air assets into this, our drone systems, our aircraft, our helicopters, heat sensors, infrared, everything we've thrown at this. They're going to step aside. We'll call them out again if we need to do more searching. But right now, we don't see this as a search mission as much as we do a crime scene.
Sheriff, can you tell us a little bit about that map?
That is, and David probably can better answer it than I, but that is our search patterns, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So with all the assets that we deployed yesterday with the search and rescue teams, the map that's on the screen is basically tracks that were followed. Those are all, the colored lines are all ground tracks of different teams and different assets that were used on the ground, to include the canines, the volunteers, and our own search and rescue team. The circles are going to be representative, if not necessarily perfect, of our air circulation with both our helicopter and our fixed wing aircraft at night, working with the night time cameras. So difficult to see where the house is. This house is basically pretty close to center in that, and then all of the searching that went on throughout the day with those folks out there on the ground.
What this really helps with is our search teams, when they come back and reassess, maybe they've missed an area, we can look at it and say, hey, you know what, this area could use a little more coverage, and so they concentrate again. Our search and rescue team is top notch. They're out every single day. If it's not a lost person, it's a hiker, it's somebody who's wandered away from a care home, whatever it may be. I want to stress to you, and it is really important, Miss Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, is of great sound mind. This is not a dementia related. She is as sharp as a tack.
There we go.
The family wants everybody to know this isn't somebody who just wandered off. She
was taken.
Her physical limits are based on just age, and we get old, and so it's more physical. But clearly, she is as sharp as a tack.
Do you have her cell phone, and does that present any tracking potential?
We're looking at that as we speak.
But do you have it or do you not?
We do have it.
Can you give us a little bit more of a timeline? Because you said she didn't leave on her own. She was last seen at 9:45. She wasn't reported missing until noon. But
I believe what happened there was at 9:45 in the evening, her children left her off. At some time earlier that morning, they got a call from somebody at the church who said, "Hey, your mom's not here." The family went to the house. I'm thinking they spent some time looking for her themselves before they called us. So I'm guessing maybe they got there around 11. So they did some searching and realized we need some help, and they called 911.
do you have any idea what time Nancy would have been taken from the home?
There's a lot of things working there, and I just can't say that right now.
Has Savannah Guthrie, has she had any threats to herself at all?
Good question.
We've spoken to her. We'll continue to work with that. She has a security team that's been in touch with us throughout the night. But we're not going to dismiss any angles for sure. But right now, immediately, we don't know of anything like that.
Is she in town or on the way here?
She's here.
Can you give us any more? What should somebody be looking for? Because when I was out in the neighborhood, the neighbors are obviously incredibly concerned. But is there anything, a tip? I mean, one neighbor stopped me and he didn't know if he should call you or not.
Oh my goodness.
But so
Call.
what should somebody be looking for?
Well, first of all, I'd ask them, go through their cameras, go through their Ring cameras, whatever cameras they may have. Don't dismiss it that, oh, well, we really can't see the house. They still might see something. Maybe it's somebody walking by. Maybe it's a vehicle driving by at that time of day. But go through all your cameras in that neighborhood and tell us if you see something. Maybe somebody already, we know this happens, right? Oh, I saw something suspicious, but I didn't think it was worth calling in, so I didn't call it in. Well, now it's call in anything you've seen or heard. Maybe it's a neighbor telling you, I saw this or I heard that. Call us. Don't tell the neighbor to call us. Tell the neighbor to call us, but you call us as well. We'll put it together. We'll get, trust me, I'm sure we're going to get inundated with a lot of calls. We'll handle that.
Did she live alone?
I believe, yes, she did. Yeah.
Were there any caregivers who are normally associated with her?
Well, she has house staff that comes by, takes care of the yard, whatever, in her house and that. But those people we'll be talking with that have talked to some of them already.
But nobody who's like a live-in or
Nobody actually lives with her, no. Like I say, she's of great sound mind, and she is mobile. It's just, it's a challenge for her to get, as the family says, she couldn't walk 50 yards by herself. So.
Somebody asked about the FBI.
I'm sorry.
Somebody asked about the FBI.
We, like I said, we work closely with all of our partners, whether they're the FBI, ATF, ICE, whoever. We know that they have certain capabilities and certain resources, just as we have certain capabilities and resources. So yes, we'll continue to work with them, and they've offered assistance to us. We accept that assistance, and we offer assistance. But just last week, the FBI called us to handle a shooting that involved Border Patrol. You need to know that. That's just day-to-day routine work for the law enforcement in Pima County in Tucson. We work very closely with our partners.
With the amount of time that's gone by, how wide do you cast in the net? Statewide, national?
Well, yes, national for sure. I'm hoping the national media's picked up on this. We've gotten a lot of reports, but statewide as well, with Amber Alerts, things like that. All of those things we use. Every tool we have, we will use. You guys are too easy. Thank you so much. I apologize for being late. I apologize for my political rhetoric of the Board of Supervisors or the City Council. I just get so frustrated and we just can't do this job without their support. We don't need political statements from the dais and mumbo jumbo. We need them to listen to their law enforcement leaders and really pay attention to the fact that we understand that there's a great potential for abuses in today's world with the technology that's available to us. But you have to, at some point in time, have some faith and trust in your leadership in the law enforcement community to know and understand that we too were elected here to provide a service to our community. I can't think of a community in this planet that wouldn't tell you, number one is public safety. Everybody just wants to be able to know that they can go outside and enjoy their community and come home and be safe at night in their rooms, asleep in bed. And this lady wasn't able to accomplish that. That's a sad statement. We need her back. We need to find her. And time is very critical. She is 84. She needs her.
84.
Her family needs her too. Thank you so much for being here.
Doesn't have David say his first and last name and spelling.
Oh, sure.
Okay, it's the spelling stuff. Okay, guys. As you guys heard, they are now saying that this scene, this crime scene, they have this. I it's scary. You instantly, every time we do these, you cover these things, we talk about these kind of true crime things that happen. It's just, it just makes you, it gets you very, very concerned. And it, of course, I see people in the chat asking questions like, could there have been, things that were, could there be outside sources, outside situations that were going on that may have turned her into a target? One of the main things I think that makes her a target is given the fact that you have a daughter, Savannah Guthrie, on a very popular, very well-known TV show. She's on 5 days a week. She is a household name. She may not be in your household a household name, right? But she is a household name. People do know her name, or at least recognize her face and her voice. Now, again, for the mom to just up and just disappear like this, it is a very, very scary thought. And the fact that the mom or the police are now saying this is indeed a crime scene because of her not being that physically able to just straight up walk out the door, that says a lot here too. To me, and of course, you saw the struggle. You saw him struggling, trying to find the best way to say what he needed to say about what he saw in that home. But the house could just be in disarray. The house could be in absolute shambles, or at least where she could have been taken. He was like, trying to say, like, basically there was some sort of scuffle or some sort of struggle that happened here. Now that's the question, Caroline. Okay. Caroline's asking, targeted. Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. They could have gone to any house on that street that she lives on. They could have gone to any house, and they chose Savannah Guthrie's home, or Savannah Guthrie's mother's home. To me, that says something, right? That says something. We got another article here that's giving us more information too. They're saying the disturbing secret evidence found at the home of Savannah Guthrie's missing mother, as cops and Star fear she did not leave on her own accord. And you remember the 5-0 just said it very, very blatant, very bluntly. He said, she is sharp as a tack. Ain't no way this is a cognitive issue. And they said the family wants to make it abundantly clear to the public that this is not a situation where she just walked out because of dementia. This is not her walking out because of X, Y, and Z. No, she is sharp as a tack. She does not have any issues like that. And she is physically not really able to just walk out the door all willy-nilly, to just like maybe take a walk to a neighbor's home to go play bridge or something crazy like that. No, they said all those things. So now we know for a fact that this 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie has been taken against her will. At least what the signs are saying inside that home. But now they're saying, now we're getting some information here, okay? So, of course, her missing mother, 84-year-old Nancy, did not leave her $1 million home on her own volition, police fear. And now a source has told the Daily Mail, the article we're reading here, why. So her stuff was left behind at the house. Keys, ID, purse, phone, everything. An insider close to the Star told the Daily Mail on Monday morning. It's not a situation where she voluntarily just went away, because she didn't take any of the things you would normally take if you voluntarily went out. So Savannah doesn't believe, well, quote unquote, doesn't believe that her mom just went out on her own accord, the source added, with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos backing up that theory as a press conference on Monday, which we just saw a second ago. And he did start this press conference saying exactly this. We do, in fact, have a crime scene. This is a crime, and now we got to find her as soon as possible. Yeah, if she did not leave with her purse, not even her ID, her phone, nothing, she's sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack. No issues of dementia or any mental decline, only physical decline. And the fact that she would not just walk out of there on her own physically because of her physical ailments, that says a lot. He also added what I just said. She is very limited in her mobility. That is massive. She did not just walk out of there. There are other things at the scene that indicate she did not leave on her own. She was last seen, like I said, I'll repeat it again, though, because this is important. She was last seen at her home in Tucson, Arizona, okay, at her home, around 9:45 p.m. Saturday night. She does not have dementia or any type of cognitive decline. Nancy also left home without taking medication that she needs to survive. This is what also Pima County Sheriff's Office said, okay, and also Jenna Bush Hager, okay, hopefully I'm saying that last name right. I only know her as Jenna Bush, but she's also a host on the Today Show as well, saying that she needs her medication to survive. She needs, if she doesn't have it within, you heard the cop, the sheriff say as well. If she does not have her medication after 24 hours, something devastating could happen, right? Scary. So Nancy's neighbor, Paul Arnaud, said he heard Nancy vanished shortly after being dropped off from a church function by a friend Saturday night. She said the alarm was raised after she failed to turn up to Sunday service the next morning. I guess she goes to church Saturdays and Sundays, like clockwork. And the fact that she didn't go like she usually does, that caused a lot of concern. Take a look. This is her crib. This is her home right here. Like I said, this assailant, this bad guy, whoever this person did, whatever they did, they could have gone to any house, but they went to hers. They could have gone to any house, guys, but they went to hers. That is, I feel like that's safe to say that she was targeted, but for what reason? Now, I know some people are saying, like, could there be gambling debts within the family? Could there be a financial issue, so on and so forth, which would cause her to become some sort of target, or like a drug deal gone bad, stuff like that. I saw that in the chat. I'm reading the chat as it goes, right? That's a possibility too. We don't have the answers yet, right? Anything's possible, but she lived on her own, from my understanding, in that big ass house. Lived on her own in that big ass house. That's a big house. $1 million home in Arizona. All her lonesome, not very physical mobilities, right? Probably walking with a cane or a walker or something of that sort. Maybe not the fastest mover because of her age and her mobility issues. So it's not like she just went for a walk outside. This is exactly what they're saying. There's no way that she just did this on her own. So the neighbor also said, we heard that the front door was left open. So a lot of us are worried that this was an abduction because they did a thorough search throughout the entire day and early evening of the entire area, and they could not find her. Another source also said, I don't think that they can say what happened yet, but it sounds like it was bad. It's not like she was mentally unwell and wandered out, if you know what I mean. So the Daily Mail understands that Nancy is not suffering from dementia or any sort or any form of cognitive decline. NBC's news staff held a prayer circle on Monday to pray for Nancy's safe return home. Homicide detectives from Pima County Sheriff's Office are investigating Nancy's disappearance. The FBI are also said to be aware of this particular case. Hopefully they'll get involved, right? Because more manpower, more people on this, maybe the quicker they can find her mother, right? Find Nancy Guthrie. Customs and Border Patrol have joined the search because Nancy's relative proximity to the actual Mexican border. So now you got Customs and Border Patrol getting involved in this situation because of how close she is to Mexico, which is possible too, because it could be illegal. You never know. You never know. There are no dumb answers or no dumb questions. I'm sorry, none, because everything's still up in the air. Drones and a plane have been deployed in a bid to find her. Savannah was not at work on Monday, but issued a statement, like I've already said before. We already heard from the Today Show reading that same thing, but I'll say it again. I want to thank everyone for the thoughts and prayers and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. We thank law enforcement for their hard work on this case and encourage anyone with information to contact Pima County Sheriff's Office at 520-351-4900. Again, 520-351-4900, or just call 911, baby. Okay? If you see something, say something, immediately call 911. You don't have to remember all these numbers. Just call 911. Okay? She had only recently returned to the famous NBC studio. Oh, this is about Savannah, because she had just had surgery, and I guess she had a little bit of a break from the Today Show because of the surgery. She had just come back. Okay, Savannah was close to her mother and recently brought her to visit the Today Show a while back. Nancy is widowed, with her husband Charles, Savannah's father, dying of a heart attack in 1989 at just 49 years old. Nancy has two other children who are Savannah's older siblings, a daughter named Annie and a son named Cameron. Okay. Now, of course, I already know people are already going like, look at the kids. Maybe the kids have something to do with it. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Could there be something that has to do with this? Possible. But here's the other thing. I can't help but lean on one thing. Okay. Numero uno. Savannah Guthrie is a massive name. She is a massive name with a lot of money, a lot of influence. There could have been anything that could have gone down that she may have said or done that may have caused. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that I'm not saying, it's all Savannah's fault. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying the fact that she's on TV, the fact that she has done political things to, whatever, right? There could be a strange, unhealthy obsession that has sprouted from her just being on TV. Could also be that maybe you never know. Like I said, everything is so. Let me, I saved this photo. Hold on. I got this photo. Without this covering, this writing on the bottom, that's covering the brother's face. So let me just pull this up. Come on. There we go. Let me just pull this up. Now, again, I'm just throwing out all the questions, right? You guys asked some questions, so I'm asking them again. Anything's possible. It could be something that's goes beyond Savannah, or it could be connected directly to Savannah, solely because of what kind of job she has and what she does. But, yeah, Shiraz, yeah. Okay. Like at this point, everything is possible. All we know is that mama is gone. Where does she go? We don't know. Clearly, there was some sort of struggle that happened and she gone, right? So anything is possible. She was close to her home, is close to the border. That's possible as well. But then at the same time, it may not be anything like that at all. Messi said, y'all acting like an 84-year-old is incompetent and can't do anything. My dad is 83, lives alone, still runs his business full time and manages a 110 condo building. That's amazing. Like, I think you're saying like 110 units in a condo building. That's freaking amazing. Yeah. I mean, no. Like I said, she does not have any sort of, they're saying she is sharp as a tack, no cognitive decline. She was living on her own. The only thing that she really was having an issue with is her physical ailments. She's just not as able-bodied. Other than that, mind is still there. Mind is still doing its thing, doing great. So the question is, and what the police just said, there's a clear sign of a struggle, or there's evidence that was left behind to show without a shadow of a doubt there was some sort of struggle or scuffle that happened. And that's what we need to know for right now, right? That's, I think, very, very, very important before we continue on, right? Before we continue on with our questions, with our, I think first and foremost, who's the person? Who is that person? How can we find that person? Is there any, like I said before, ring camera footage, anything of that sort that can show us without a shadow of a doubt that, yes, there was some sort of struggle, or showing her being pulled out of this home against her will, that kind of thing, right? I think we all want to know that. Hold on. I'm pulling up a few more things, guys, just to see if there's anything more. I mean, there's obviously still a whole lot more, but this is just so strange. And like I said, it makes you want to know why this went down the way it went down. Why was she targeted of all things, right? Why is she targeted of all things? Just doesn't make any sense. Foul play is definitely suspected. And of course, we're going to find out more information. Give me a second, guys. Trying to get like more recent.
Well, we are following a news alert out of southern Arizona on this Monday morning. The mother of a national TV host is reported missing.
So the Pima County Sheriff's Department says that missing woman is Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Pima County Sheriff's Chris Nanos says Nancy Guthrie was last seen near Catalina Foothills home near Skyline and Campbell. That is in the northeastern portion of Tucson. It was around 9:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Family members reported her missing around noon yesterday. Search and rescue teams are said to be combing the area by air and by ground. The sheriff also says, quote, concerning circumstances were in fact found, which has now led to homicide detectives investigating the case.
It's not standard. Typically, our homicide team comes out when we have a homicide, a body. This one was a fake, simply because of what the scene was telling us.
Well, Guthrie is described as 5'5", 150 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Anyone with information is asked to call 911. It is not clear what she may have been wearing around the time of her disappearance. And even though homicide has not yet been ruled out, the sheriff says that right now the investigation is being classified and handled as a search and rescue mission.
So Savannah Guthrie skipped this morning's episode of the Today Show. A statement was shared on the show. She says in part, quote, "On behalf of my family, I want to thank everyone for their thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. We will continue to follow the very latest on the search and bring you any information as it comes in this morning."
Also,
I mean, obviously this is what a way to start 2026, y'all. It has been a 2026 is already 2026 in. What a way to start this year. I'm really hoping she's okay, but God only knows. We'll find out here.
We begin this morning with a developing story. The mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie has been reported missing. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home just north of Tucson, Arizona. Jerika Duncan has more.
The Pima County Sheriff's Department in Arizona is calling on the public for help with finding Nancy Guthrie.
Miss Guthrie is 84 years old. Is not on good physical health.
Officials say she was last seen at her home on Saturday night around 9:30. On Sunday, a relative reported her missing under, quote, "concerning circumstances." Officials are describing the case as a search and rescue mission, but they also say homicide detectives have visited Guthrie's home.
The scene at the house also has some concerns for us as well.
We have Nancy Guthrie right here to stand up for herself.
Nancy Guthrie has made regular appearances on NBC's Today Show with her daughter Savannah, who has spoken at length about her mother's love for family and faith.
And I think that's the other thing I'd like to say about my mom. The greatest gift my mother gave me was faith and belief in God.
According to her family, Guthrie has no known cognitive illnesses such as dementia or Alzheimer's and is of good sound mind, though she does have some physical ailments. Officials are describing Nancy Guthrie as a vulnerable adult. For CBS Mornings, I'm Jerika Duncan.
Now, again, somebody said something in the chat. I just saw it and it made me think in my head, what are the I mean, is it? I don't know. This is going to sound insane. I mean, because we're putting all these other possibilities, right? We're talking about how that. Hold on, let me just get this video.
Breaking
going.
news.
Hold on, let me get that video going. This could be outside, right? Her being taken. There's two different possibilities, or there's many possibilities. I'm sorry. But one of the other possibilities is, what if she was, what are the chances of her actually, talking to somebody? And she talked to the wrong person. I mean, I'm just saying, I know that sounds a little bit insane, but everybody needs a companion. Everybody needs, everybody wants to have friendship. Everybody doesn't want to feel alone. She's an 84-year-old woman that lives on her own. There's still that possibility too. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not sitting there saying that is the be all and end all, but maybe she did meet somebody that, maybe was the wrong person. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, that's still a possibility. Or something outside of this situation happened too. Like, this is so wild. You know what I mean? Like it just, you know what I mean? This whole situation is wild. It could very well be because Savannah Guthrie is Savannah Guthrie, or it could be some other outside thing, or it's just somebody who targeted her for the sake of targeting her for whatever wild reason. Remember, though, it's not like they went in and there were valuables they didn't say anything about valuables missing or anything of that sort. It's not like they went in and they robbed her home, taking her flat screen TVs and her computers and all of her electronics. All of her things were left behind. So clearly this is something personal. But how personal? Is it directly towards Nancy, or is it directly towards Savannah Guthrie or somebody in the family? You see what I'm saying? Those are the things I'm curious about. That because whoever did this did not go and try to, they didn't go out of their way to try to take things from that house. They went in, there was allegedly, okay, what the police have basically alluded to is that there was some sign of something that gave them the idea that something criminal happened here. And then she was taken. She's gone. She's nowhere to be found right now. So again, this is when you wonder, was there a ransom note left behind? Was there something that, are they about to come out with a video here in a little bit directly to Savannah and the family, demanding money or something of that sort? You see what I'm saying? We don't know anything. That's the problem. We don't know anything at all. And that's the frustrating part about something like this, where it's a case that is just so wide open still. Let's continue.
Police are treating the disappearance of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother as a crime. Investigators say the 84-year-old was last seen near her home on January 31st. Now the Pima County Sheriff says she has mobility issues, and some things at the scene indicate she did not leave on her own. Let's bring in ABC's Melissa Adon and ABC News contributor, former FBI agent Brad Garrett, for more. Melissa, what's the latest on the investigation?
So, Diane, what we just heard about Nancy Guthrie, she's 84 years old, and the investigators there at Pima County, Arizona, confirming that they do, in fact, have a crime scene. Now, that is critical and new information, because what we had heard just yesterday was that investigators were concerned with what they found there in that home, and now they're calling it a crime scene. Please have a listen to the latest that we just heard from investigators.
As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime, and we're asking the community's help.
Now, reporters in the room there were questioning officials, saying, well, what exactly is that evidence? How do we know that it is, in fact, a crime? Well, investigators followed up saying that they don't want to compromise their investigation so far. But what they do know is what they found yesterday was so concerning that they have now put together some of this evidence that they're going through and looking through, because they feel confident that essentially 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie could not have just walked out of that home alone. Now, we're being told that she has mobility issues, but that she's perfectly sound of mind. Now, another really key alerting thing that we learned was that the investigators shared that if Nancy does not get medicated, this could be fatal. Diane.
And Brad, the sheriff talked about using technology to aid in this search. What goes into an investigation like this?
So the big key is if she didn't leave the house voluntarily, which is what the sheriff is certainly suggesting, that means somebody forcibly took her out of the house because of physical, not mental, but physical impairments. They would have had to help her to force her into a car or into some other device that could take her wherever. So you obviously want to use drones, but you also want to pull down any cell phone that was on at the time that you believe she disappeared.
Now, again, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good point too. But I do want to pull something up, because if we look at the house, just looking at the house one more again, all right. I just taking a look. It's a lot of like, yes, there is vegetation, but clearly they've already combed through this area. I'm sure they've combed through this area like crazy. But outside of this area, we might have to do a map time thing a little bit later on, not today, or not on this particular show, but soon we might have to do a little bit of a map time. From my understanding, it's like very sparse, it's a lot of desert, sure, there's vegetation, but like low, not like and not like a huge cluster. It's not like they're going to be combing through forests, if that makes any sense, right? So again, and S-Dubs, I agree. Like that is a big ass home for someone who isn't very, able-bodied, for an 84-year-old. I'm not sitting here saying that an 84-year-old person couldn't handle this situation or this home, but I'm just saying that's a big home for somebody who has physical ailments, that has some physical limitations, right? So interesting, right? Again, it does make you wonder, and Elle ain't wrong with that. With this piece of information, always switch up your schedule, because we've seen this countless times where, if you don't know you're getting watched, it's very easy to be followed. It's very easy to check out their patterns. Okay, every Saturday and Sunday they go to church at this particular time and they come back at this particular time. You know what I mean? Or every morning or every night they go on their run and they're gone for approximately this amount of time. Like I said, that's really scary. If you really think about it, people could literally, if you have a pattern and you do it all the time, people can pick up on that pattern and figure you out quick and figure out and see what your routine is for something dire, right? For something sinister, But, let's let him finish what he's saying here, okay?
Who showed up at the house? Because the key here, obviously, Diane, is immediacy. What things can you immediately do? You can do what I just talked about. You also need to immediately interview the staff that works in the house. Who was the last person who saw her? Did she get telephone calls right before supposedly she disappeared? All of those things you need to know. I'm sure they already do know. And going one step outside of that, then what's the motive? Is this driven because it's personal some way? Is it driven because she can get the money or something that's, valuable? I don't know. But that also is important, because you just don't show up at somebody's house, to an 84-year-old's house, and then force them to leave with you without obviously some motive.
And Brad, they mentioned several times needing community help here, any information. How crucial is that in a case like this?
It's big time crucial. I mean, I don't know the layout of where Miss Guthrie lives, but, is she in close proximity to other people? What is their CCTV? The sheriff referred to this. Did they see a car that they've never seen in her driveway or in front of her residence? Had she told them about somebody she was concerned about? All of those things play into a potential lead as to A, who took her, and B, potentially where she might be at this point.
And Melissa, Savannah Guthrie and her family released a statement saying they're staying focused on finding their mother. Any more on the family and how they're helping in this search?
Absolutely, Diane. Through the investigators, we did learn that Savannah's family, including Savannah herself, they are there in Pima County helping out with investigators with any information that they have. And in fact, what we've learned was that it was Savannah's siblings who essentially were alerted that their mom was missing when she didn't show up to church. That's when the family then went over to her home. We're told that Nancy Guthrie lives on her own, but they didn't find her. They started essentially possibly doing their own search, then called 911. So at this point, we do know that all of the siblings are just rallying together, of course, now working with law enforcement and any of the law enforcement agency partners that are going to be helping out with this, because this is really dire. Of course, that 24-hour window, so crucial in any of these missing persons case right now, that they hopefully can find her.
Again, guys, she is nowhere to be found. She has just disappeared. It sounds like somebody from church saw her or didn't see her. Like they were expecting her to be there like she always is, and she wasn't there. So then they reached out to immediate family. That's when they, like we just heard, went to the place, went to her house, and saw that she was nowhere to be found. And then, of course, there's a clear signs of some sort of struggle or something was up, right? So again, interesting that this whole thing has gone down the way it's gone down. And this is really, really scary. And all I can say is, and I can't help but emphasize or stress this enough. If you see something, most definitely say something. Okay. Call 911. You don't need the number, but if, the actual local sheriff's office. If you see something, say something. She's 84 years old, female, 5'5", 150 pounds, blue eyes, brown hair. Okay. Again, was last seen on the 31st of January. And now isn't it Groundhog's Day? Right. From my understanding, we have like six more weeks of winter. It's the 2nd of February, and she's still nowhere to be found. Of course, I know all of you true crime sleuthies out here are going to be losing your freaking minds with their theories and all that. And I feel like we exercised a lot of those questions. We asked a lot of those questions of the possibilities. And it could very well be, obviously something sinister happened here, but it could very well be just something where, it may not be deeper than what it is. You see what I'm saying? Maybe it's just a monster that just targeted this woman and did what they did. It may not have anything to do with family members. But of course, I'm hoping and praying for her swift and quick recovery and that she's okay. Again, they said that 24 hours, it's very serious right now because she needs her medication. And when she does not have her medication, this could turn into something very deadly and very dangerous for her as well. But it sounds to me, and at least what police are saying right here too, that this is most definitely a crime. I'm just hoping that she's okay. Let me get these super chats here really quick. Lenora, thank you so much. Did they issue an elderly alert? I don't know. We have that in Texas. I love Savannah. Yes, a lot of people really love and respect Savannah. Could this very well be something that's connected to her being such a household name? Possibly. It could be nothing at the same time. Literally, this could just be a crime. I hate to say that, but it could literally just be evil going and knocking on this woman's front door at random, and that she was targeted, and the evil that was knocking on that door had no idea that Savannah is the daughter of Nancy. You see what I'm saying? But something tells me different. Something tells me different. But as far as the elderly alert, I didn't hear anything about them issuing anything of that sort. So if that is the case, that I'm sure will come out in some future reports, I'm sure. General Genobi, what up? Thank you so much for the love, Daily Mail. I just read this, but yeah, everything was left behind. So that's a clear sign of foul play, right? Everything was left behind. Phone, purse, keys, and of course, her $1 million home. People on the bandwagon saying immigrants, how sad people jump to that when USA has so many criminals of their own. That's hard facts. But that's what it is. They're instantly going, oh, this is another Laken Riley situation. Hopefully I'm saying her name correctly. It's been a while since I've covered Laken's case. But you see what I'm saying? They're going to try to move the goalposts to fit some political narrative. But then again, it could be that too. God only knows. God only knows who this person is or who these people are. I guess only time will tell when we get more clues. But here's the thing: Ring cameras, security cameras in the area of any kind. These $1 million plus homes that in that neighborhood, I guarantee you some of them have some sort of cameras. Some of these houses have got to have a ring cam because you never know. Maybe they were able to capture a car driving by so we can at least get a description of a vehicle, because clearly this person did not just grab her and walk her down the street. Do you see what I'm saying? Ain't no way. I think they must have pulled up, grabbed her, and put her in the car. But I'm curious as to, was it only just one person, or was it two people that helped, that made this happen? But nonetheless, this is very, very scary stuff, guys. It instantly makes me think of, my loved ones, right? As I'm sure it makes you think of your loved ones as well. It's a scary thought that all of a sudden one day, everyone, you're doing fine. I love you, Ma, blah, blah, blah. And the next minute, she is literally gone, nowhere to be found. That is a very scary and hard pill, to swallow for sure. I'm hoping that she's going to be found here soon. But of course, as they start to give us more clues as the clues start to slowly trickle out, we will be talking about this and we will be covering it for sure. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about this really quick. And then, of course, I got to wrap the show. And honestly, I don't have time. I don't have time today. This was a big show. But there is a rumor floating around about Epstein possibly, like, his body was switched out after he passed away in his cell. And we definitely need to talk about that. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to wrap up the show right now. But I will be back tomorrow, a little bit later on today, to give you guys more updates in Savannah Guthrie's, mother's case. And of course, we'll dive into more of this and, get a chance to really talk about the Grammys and Trump's reaction to the Grammys and all that too. Unfortunately, I gotta hop off. That was a big piece. And I think that was a very important piece. A mother is gone. A mother is missing right now. We need to do whatever we can to keep our eyes open. If you see something, say something. And let's get Nancy back home, right? Let's get this, from what I understand, from what I see, a very lovely woman, very loving, doting, wonderful mom. Let's get her back home as soon and as safely as possible. Again, if you see something, please call 911. Do not hold that to yourself. If you see her out there, please call 911. When there's more information, I'll be right here to give you guys that information. But I'm praying for her safe return. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. I'll be back on a little bit later on. I promise you. Got some things I got to take care of, but I'll be back. Okay. And we will discuss further about everything that's going on. And I'm sure there's going to be new information coming out rapidly. So stay tuned. Okay. But in the meantime, before you leave, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, please do me a favor. And don't forget to hit that follow button on those platforms. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. Please and thank you. Okay, go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there, please. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't worry. Like I said, hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because I will be back on a little bit later on today with more updates in this particular case and in other things that we will be talking about again very, very soon. So make sure that notification bell is set to all. Do that. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. And we'll be talking very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.